Hello, Lynette. We got Mark. We have Peter all in the chat. Good morning. Happy Monday. We are live from Disney's Shades of Green Resort. So excited to be here. I know I've talked about this many times on past streams, how I wanted to make my way over here. And here we are on this rainy Monday morning. We're going to do the best we can trying to get outside, but it is a little bit rainy here in Orlando. I did come fully equipped with an umbrella, so we're going to make an attempt to head outside and see how the weather's going. Because it is a beautiful resort, and hence the name Shades of Green. I want to show you all the green outside. It is very cozy. All right, so there's just a little drizzle. Good morning, Eric. Hey, Captain Kirk. Christina, good morning. So this is right outside the lobby doors. There's a little terrace out here. So nice. Oh, there's a little fireplace too. Beautiful, beautiful. Looks so nice with all the lights and everything lit up. Thank you all so much for joining me on this glorious Monday morning. I'm excited to kickstart the week with a positive note. So happy that you're all here and joining me. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge you for being here. You know, it's not always fun waking up super early, especially on a Monday morning, but I want to acknowledge you for taking time out of your Monday morning to do something for you. So thank you for being here. And if you could, on your way in, whether you're watching live or on a replay, make sure you hit that like button, consider subscribing, and maybe even becoming a Patreon. We're going to talk about some perks of the Patreon program later in the stream. But I want to thank you so much for being here. And I want to start out by saying that you are in a safe space. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat, post comments, interact with me. I love answering questions and kind of getting to know you a little bit better. So just know that you are in a safe space and it's a judgment-free zone. I don't know if I really need this umbrella. It's not too rainy anymore. I don't know. It's like misting now. But I just don't want the camera and the gimbal to get messed up. But here we are. So excited. I don't know if there's even steps to get down anywhere. I don't think so. I have to go back inside and walk around. But we have a lot to talk about on this stream. I'm so excited. Almost finished reading Brené Brown's book, Dare to Lead. I know I talked a lot about this on the stream 2 weeks ago. We're going to pick up with a continuation of that book. So much to chat about. We're going to end the stream talking about our values, and it's kind of a little interactive end to the stream because I have linked a document in the description below that you can use to kind of help you figure out your values. And I'm going to talk more about that as we continue on with the stream. So that is there for you. Hey, Shamrock Turtle, how we doing? Good morning. But yeah, so that's going to really be our focus for today's stream. I'm going to recap just slightly on some of the things we talked about last stream and kind of bring it together with the topics for this week. I apologize for not streaming last Monday. It's, I think, the first Monday I've missed since starting streaming. But we are back, ready to rock and roll this morning. So I am going to close the umbrella, go inside, and find some steps down to walk around because it looks so beautiful. Let me just make sure we don't go inside with the umbrella. Excellent, Lynette. I love that. She said, gave my daughter the book yesterday. We'll let you know what she thinks about it. Excellent. I love that. So excited for her. All right. Here we go. We have my boyfriend Pete in the chat, and he's going to direct me if he can, because I don't really know where I'm going. But I want to go downstairs. Oh, maybe I can go out this way and go down? Let's see. I haven't been to this resort in such a long time, so we're gonna just explore it together. This is right outside, super pretty. There is a waterfall out here. We got some water features here, and it goes right down here. Very cool. Kind of reminds me of the Rainforest Cafe a little bit. I don't know why. Just like all the plants and things. Yeah, Wilderness Lodge vibes. That too. Oh, so beautiful. So I feel like this goes to the front. I don't know where I'm going. I think. No. And for some reason, I'm losing service too. So refresh if that happens. You can walk in the front and go. Excuse me. Sorry. Okay. Yes, Lynette. That's a great idea. You've never stayed here before? We're gonna go back in and up. Well, giving you a little tour now, so hopefully this will entice you to stay here. It's beautiful. Beautiful resort for military service members and their families, veterans. Oh yeah, you can get your park tickets here as well at a discounted rate. Oh, I feel like I'm yelling because of that waterfall. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Peter. Up to 50% off for veterans and their families. Love that. So once we get ourselves established outside, we'll chat more about this book, but I don't really know where I'm going. Okay, stairs to the restaurant and pools, I would assume. Here we go. Look how gorgeous. Looks so nice, all lit up. I love it. And it is drizzling a little bit more than before, so let's get that umbrella going. So they have a gym. It looks like a little fitness center over here that looks out to the lake. Beautiful. It's so peaceful in the morning. I love it. So as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be talking about the book Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. And if this is your first time joining us, thank you for being here. Also, you'll find out real quick that I am a big fan of Brené Brown. She is a social worker, mental health professional, and she researches, her big thing is vulnerability and shame, and she brings all of her research and knowledge into some very knowledgeable books. And she just makes it extremely approachable. And that's why I really like reading her work. Some of it tends to get a little repetitive from book to book, but I think it just reinforces some really great information that, is good to hear a second or third time. I always tell my students, as I'm an English teacher, it's always good to read and reread, right? So that information sticks with you. You might grab something new the second or third time reading it. But yeah, I like a lot of her books. So we're going to be talking about that. And this book in particular is geared towards, but not exclusively for, leaders in business, leaders in jobs, and just like in life overall. Like literally the book is called Dare to Lead. So has to do with leadership, but that could be applied to any facet of your life. You can be the leader of your family. You could be a leader of like your friend group. And I feel like a lot of what she talks about and what she teaches in this book can be used for anyone, anyone aspiring to kind of level up a little bit in their own life. So it's definitely worth the read. Yeah, it is gorgeous. I'm telling you. I love a little bridge. But we're going to maybe go into this gazebo over here. And what we're going to focus on, I think, the broader topics of what I've been reading this week and last week has to do with trust, has to do with your values, and also how to show empathy. So those are going to be like the major concepts that we're going to be talking about. This is absolutely stunning. I love the views. So they also have a golf course attached to where you can play golf. I've actually played foot golf here with Pete quite a few times. Super cool. The course is really, really nice. So I'm excited to be walking around outside, even though it's raining a little bit. Not the most ideal weather conditions, but we love rain on a Monday. It gives you a nice cleanse and purification going into the week. Like, yes, let's clear out everything that happened last week, stuff that happened over the weekend, and we're starting fresh, just like with nature. All right, so I'm going to just jump into it. Definitely, if you have not seen my last stream from 2 weeks ago, you want to, after this stream, follow up with that, by all means. But we're talking about trust, and Brené really focuses on the fact that trust is earned in the smallest moments. It's not something that you could just demand that happens. It happens over time. And a way to build trust with people is to pay attention, to listen, and to have small moments and gestures of genuine care and connection. That's when people feel like they can trust you. She says, trust and vulnerability grow together, and to betray one of them, either trust or vulnerability, is to destroy both. So I think that's super interesting. Like you can't have trust if you're not being vulnerable, and vice versa. And we talked about this last time too. Like vulnerability without boundaries is not vulnerability. It's just you giving kind of like verbal, like word vomit. Like you're giving too much information right off the bat. And that is not being vulnerable. That is just divulging all of your life story. Just taking in the beautiful scenery. Again, just giving like a brief recap of the last stream. Something that stuck out to me was, if we numb the light, we numb the dark. Right? Because we talk about different things that people do to numb themselves from either feeling vulnerable or avoiding vulnerability, or just avoiding difficult times in their lives, like numbing, right? So the cure for numbing, instead of asking what's the quickest way to make these feelings go away, you should ask yourself, what are these feelings and where did they come from, right? And figuring out what brings you real comfort And renewal is super important in those times when you feel like you should be numbing. Okay. Let's keep it moving. We're gonna walk. I just love this area. This is so nice. We're gonna head this way. All right. Then we're gonna get into what it means to empower people. Again, this is all coming from the lens of like leadership, but of course you can apply it even if you're not a quote unquote leader in your job, right? These things can be applicable to really anyone. So there's 3 elements of empowering people. So the first one is power with, which means finding a common ground among differences and like different interests in order to build a collective strength. So it might not mean that you feel the same way as someone or have the same interests, but finding that common ground and understanding is one of the ways of building empathy. The second one is power to, which is giving everyone on your team agency and acknowledging their unique potentials. Oh, there's a pretty bird right here. So, I mean, we're all human beings. We really thrive on having and being acknowledged, right? We all want to belong. There's another bird over here. Where did it go? Oh, he's in the water. We all want to feel like we belong somewhere. So acknowledging people and praising them is one way of really building that empowering relationship. And the third one is power within, the ability to recognize differences and respect others. And it's grounded in a strong foundation of self-worth and self-knowledge, right? So respecting people, kind of what I talk about on previous streams is like meeting people where they are and not so much judging them for it, but realizing, okay, this is where this person is right now in their life or in their mindset. And I might not agree with it, but you can acknowledge them for being there and kind of applying the techniques that need to be applied to this particular person and speaking to them in a way that's going to work for where they are mentally. I love that, Lynette. She says, sounds like this book may reinforce what my daughter already does. I love that. Yeah, it's always good to have a nice reminder, and it's going to make her feel good, like, oh, hey, I've been doing this, right? That's awesome. I also want to say, because I usually do begin my streams with this, I am not an expert on anything that I am talking about. I am just sharing information that I've learned with you guys, and you can take what resonates with you and leave the rest. So don't feel like everything that I'm saying is like what everyone should be doing or has to do. It's just things that kind of resonated with me and I wanted to share with you. Oh, golfers only on the course. Please no jogging, walking, biking, skating. Thank you. But I kind of want to walk over there. That's not fair. Let's go this way first and we'll kind of circle back. It is gorgeous. And I don't think anyone is golfing at the moment in this rain, but just want to get a little tour of the resort first. Brené also talks about leading from hurt and leading from your heart. I love that she comes up with these like easy to remember like phrases because I think it's obviously easier to remember and they make sense. So she says leading from hurt or past experiences is basically leading from a place of pain and not really thinking about the needs of your team, but leading from your heart and leading from vulnerability is going to give you more of a supportive team, more of a team where they feel empowered and willing to work. So she says it's not what you've experienced or what you are experiencing. It's what you do with that pain or hurt, right? It's how to move forward with that. And that's with anything in life, right? We all take our past experiences with us. Well, there's a lot of golf carts. We all take those experiences with us, but it's really how we apply those experiences to our lives. Morning. And whether we let them control us or not, right? So that's the same in leadership. Good morning, Glenn Ritchie. Welcome. Although it's drizzling, I really think this is the best day to be touring this resort because honestly, everything just looks greener with this rain. It's beautiful. And as I mentioned earlier, Brené Brown talks a lot about shame and vulnerability. And she says that shame bring out characteristics that undermine our vision of our ideal selves. And we talked about it on the last stream. I feel like many streams before as well, but the idea of shame and the difference between that and embarrassment and guilt is basically, guilt is more of like, I've done something bad, and shame is like, I am bad. I am a bad person. So there's a big mindset shift of how you look at the world. And she wants you to kind of move away from the idea of shame. Like, it's okay to feel guilt, but feeling shame and kind of moving through life holding on to shame is not something that's going to help you grow. You can see the Polynesian off in the distance there. I truly have no clue as to where I'm going. I should probably be like on the inside of the resort, so I'm gonna swoop back around. This looks like a little driving range over here, super cute. All right, and then she says, shame drives two different tapes or two different like ways of being. So you can think you're never good enough, or who do you think you are? So I know we've all been in that situation before where we feel like we're not good enough. I mean, I don't think there's any person that has never felt that way in their life at some point, right? That you're not good enough. Whether it's in a relationship, in a job, in some sort of sport, anything, right? Everybody has that feeling. It's a universal feeling, and that comes from shame. And then the idea of who do you think you are? Like, I know I've had that thought in my mind literally last week. Like, who do I think I am? Like, that I'm able to do this? I shouldn't be able to, or like, I am not worthy, right? We all have those feelings, and just know that it's coming from the idea of shame. So that's something that's really good to identify and especially catch in the moment so that you're able to acknowledge it and, change your way of thinking in that moment. Because shame drives destructive, hurtful, immoral, and self-aggressive behavior. So that's why, it's really good to make sure we're identifying that so that we're able to see these negative behaviors that we have. Hey, Shelly. Good morning. Whether you're experiencing these feelings or not, oh, hold on. We have like a family of deer. Hold on, let me zoom in. Why won't it let me? No. That's pretty cool. Oh, they're running away. It's a family of deer back there. Super cute. I don't know if you can see them. They're so far now. Very cool. See, that's what the rain does too. It brings out all the animals. So again, the difference between like shame and guilt. So guilt promotes or prompts change, right? If you feel guilty about doing something, you're going to want to make that change. Or make good for whatever the thing was. But if you have shame, it's paralyzing. It corrodes that part of us that believes that we can change and do better. Because if you're in the mindset of, I'm a bad person, that's something that you are it's like a blanket statement you're giving to yourself. So it's not going to help you change. But if you feel guilty about something, like I did something bad, it's going to prompt you to do something to change that behavior in the future. All right, so Peter, if you want to chime in at any point, I don't know how to get to the pool area or like the middle of this resort. I'm just kind of just walking around because I know there's more to see. Hey, Tomorrowland Traveler, welcome. Thanks for being here. Because it told me to come out here for the pool area. There's no pool area out here. Not that I mind being in this area. It's super cute. But I do want to show you more of the resort. Or maybe it's that way. Pools. Okay, Lauren, just read signs. That will be helpful. All right, I'm going to go that way. I want to walk over this cute little bridge, too. Oh, wow. So I guess you could buy bricks here at one point. I was just walking over them before, not even paying attention. So Brené says, shame and grief are emotions that are hard to fully express, so we turn to anger or silence. Yeah, Lynette, it's huge. They have a golf course. I feel like that kind of like expands a little bit. Yeah, so I think kind of working backwards, if you're feeling angry or if you're feeling, kind of like in that fight or flight and you're like retreating, you have to think about, okay, am I coming from a place of shame or grief? Because what is the underlying emotion there?
Keep moving.
Oh, the whole time.
That is true.
We got tennis courts. We have another pond, the evergreens, the arcade, and then the pool is this way. Okay, so maybe we'll walk this way and make our way to the tennis courts in a little bit. So thank you, signs, for being here. So in order to build that skill of empathy, mindfulness is an amazing tool to make that connection. So you're taking a balanced approach to negative emotions so that feelings are neither suppressed nor exaggerated. So when you're practicing mindfulness, it helps you to balance those negative emotions. You're recognizing them and you're able to make changes. You're letting go of the fear of saying the wrong thing, or the need to fix something, or the desire to offer the perfect response. I think that's huge. Because for me, this is something that I do constantly. If somebody is telling me something tragic that happened to them, or they're having a bad day, I always want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. I want to make sure that I'm trying to fix whatever, the situation is. And that is not always the best way to show empathy. Because sometimes people just don't want to hear it. They just want to vent and let it be. They don't want somebody to come in and fix whatever the situation is. So that's just something that I remind myself of sometimes when I find that I'm trying to look for solutions, because I'm very solutionist. Sometimes people just want to let it all out. So here is, I believe, one of the pool areas. I think there's another one. A little bit small, but I love that they have the little volleyball net over there. I think right behind it, I don't know if you can see, because now I'm starting to recognize this a little bit. Right behind it, they have like snacks. I think there's a bar back there too. And it's near the golf course and where you play foot golf as well. So they have access, and it's part of like the pool area here too. Lynette, I knew that would help you. I have so much to say on the topic of anger too, things that I learned. So I can't wait to share with you. Hi, CJL. Yeah, it kind of does, Captain Kirk. Reminds me of a greener Coronado. All right. And I love that she gives a clearer definition of like empathy and sympathy. And I know she's done this in one of her other books, or maybe multiple other books, but she talks about how sympathy is fueled by like feeling bad for someone, versus empathy, which is feeling bad with someone. That I think is huge. So we reached a dead end. I'm going to walk around the other way too. So when you feel sympathy, right? Usually, I always think of like sympathy cards, right? Somebody passes away, you feel bad for that person. You're showing sympathy. But when you want to show empathy is when you are sharing that emotion or that experience with the person. You're sitting there with them, and that helps to build more of a connection and trust, right? It doesn't mean you're trying to level up on that person, one up that person, like, oh, you think your day was bad? Let me tell you about my day. It's not the goal there. It's more of, I get where you're coming from. I've experienced this too. And even just validating if somebody is going, having a bad day, you saying, yeah, that kind of sucks. Like, I get that. Sometimes people are like, oh, okay. Like, instead of you trying to find the silver lining of like, well, at least it's not blah, 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 or at least you get to blah, blah, blah. In this case, you're saying, yeah, that kind of does suck. And the person goes, oh, they get it. You're sitting in the arena with me instead of standing on the outside looking in, and almost comes across as judging where that person is, right? And their feelings. So I think that's an interesting way of looking at the two. Sympathy and empathy. All right. Oh yes, the golf clubhouse is right over there, and that's where you go to check in with your golf time, and if you're doing foot golf, you go there too. Here you can get your little golf cart, and here's what I was saying. This is Chippendale's Deli. Get some snacks. I think you get some beverages there too. Super cute. Oh, there's a little shaded area. That's fun. And Brené Brown talks about the Me Too movement and how powerful that was. Me Too meaning I may not have had the exact same experience as you, but I know this struggle and you are not alone. And just making that connection and helping people feel like they're not alone is going to help you show empathy. You're going to build trust, and you're going to have that connection that we're all searching for. Sorry, I'm trying to read chat too. Lynette says, unfortunately, Bill is the one who suffers from my anger or silence. Lynette, we're going to talk more about that. Peter said, I like that. I don't know which one you're referring to. I'm sorry, Peter. Lynette says, I think it's worse when someone says things could be worse, doesn't acknowledge your pain. Exactly. And I feel like that's coming from, because I have done this too. I'm not saying I'm perfect in this area, but I'm guilty of doing that. And it makes the other person feel bad, and it doesn't validate their feelings, because like, you're allowed to have a bad day. You're allowed to be upset or angry or, whatever. And you saying things could be worse is creating distance between you and that person. Hey, Pete Stummy. Good morning, Lauren. Needed a dose of motivation to start the week. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Look at this beautiful resort. All right. And it's raining on my index cards. No. Okay. And then she goes on to talk about empathy misses. I'm going to just briefly touch on what her empathy misses are, meaning people that have the intention of being empathetic, but like missing the mark on that. And you can kind of dive deeper if you want to buy this book. Again, it's called Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. And she says, number one, empathy versus sympathy. We talked about that. Number two is the gasp and awe, meaning, oh my gosh, that's awful. I can't believe it. So it makes the other person feel like, oh gosh, like, I guess it's really as bad as I thought. The mighty fall, meaning like, oh, wow, I never thought you would go through that. Like, you're so put together. You're such a strong person. I would never see you in this light, making the person really feel like crap. Number four, the block and tackle. Number five, the boot and shovel, meaning it's not that bad. You're amazing. You can do it. And then number six, you think that's bad. Blah, 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 blah. So when you do that, you don't take responsibility and ownership for other people. You're just basically coming across as very judgmental. Look at this beautiful tree. So we got a playground over here. I think, oh yeah, this is the other pool area. And then there's like an indoor bar / like restaurant. Let me show you this part. See, this is like way bigger than what anyone could imagine, because I never knew all this existed. And literally I was just on the other side of the resort. You couldn't even see this area. And it's just, I don't know if it's like kind of like a little maze though, because not many things are connected, but maybe when you're inside, it makes it easier to jump across from one place to the next. So here it looks like they have a little Connect 4. You could play checkers. That's cute. And here is the other pool area. Super cool. They have a little splash pad for the kids. There's a huge water slide. Nice little spot. All right, and then I don't know if this is open now, but this is the Evergreens Sports Bar. I know they have food in here because Pete did a stream a long time ago here, and I remember getting French fries and sitting right, oh, it is open, sitting at one of these tables having some French fries. They have some beer, some cocktails. There's literally no one here. Okay. Quesadillas. There's an arcade in there. I still have my umbrella up. Okay, let me just take that down. I'm walking around with the umbrella. They have these nice big tables, which I love. And you can come in here, have a beverage, have a snack, and then watch your kids in the pool area. Love. Take a short break for a moment, since I did find something I need at the moment. So here we go. You guys can hang here for a second. I will be right back. We are back. I'm gonna make moves and go outside. I think I'm gonna just put my hood up instead of having this umbrella. Okay. And it really has stopped raining. This morning it was downpouring before I left for the gym, so I think we're doing better. I don't know. I just don't want my phone to get damaged, but we'll just see how it goes. Okay. I also don't know if I think that's just golf cart parking over there. And maybe we'll just follow the course around. All right, this brings me to what I've really been looking forward to. I gotta open this umbrella with this stream. So I'm excited that you're all still here and ready for talking about values. Super pumped about this one. So this is something that I worked on with Pete too this weekend. Kind of living into your values. So you can always kind of say and profess your values, but unless you live into them, right? You talk the talk and walk the walk, then you're not really being authentic. So Brené talks about practicing your values, which means we take care about what we believe and hold important, right? Our intentions, words, thoughts, and behaviors align with those beliefs. So if we don't make our values priorities, we can't ask others to do it for us. I'm gonna go this way once this golf cart is passed. Morning. So, when we're asking for others to support us, support can look like a few things. It can look like love, encouragement, straight talk, boundary setting, and occasional, no, I don't support this, and here's why. And in order to receive that support, you need to be clear on what your values are. So, I have like a million index cards for today. I'm just so excited about this topic. All right, I'm gonna skip to here. So let's kind of talk about this. So your values are a way of being or believing that we hold most important to us, okay? Excuse me. We can't necessarily live into these values that we can't name. So this is like with anything in life, right? If you can't define it, if you can't name it, you can't do it, right? If you're not clear on what your goals are. This is why I talk about with goal setting, and I have a lot of videos on this as well. If you're not clear on your goal, if it's not measurable, if it's not something that's timely, if it doesn't have action steps, you're not going to get to that goal. So it's the same thing with your values. If you're not defining what they are, if you're not clear on what they are, you're not going to be living them. And then you're not going to be living authentically. So we want to make sure that our values align with our intentions, our words, our thoughts, our behaviors, and our beliefs, just like I mentioned before. So you have to think to yourself, what is your North Star? Like at the end of the day, what is the one or two things that really drive you every single day? And Brené Brown gives a list of many, many values in her book. I've actually created a Word document, a Google document rather, and I've linked it in the caption below. So if you want to check that out, I don't know if you could do it on your phone, it might take you away from the stream, but it is linked at the bottom. So you can see the list of values that I'm talking about, and you can narrow it down to one or two values. And when you see the list, you're gonna be like, oh my God, there's so many values that I have on this list. But Brené Brown talks about how she says, if you have more than one priority, you have no priorities. So looking at these values, it's so important to get clear on what are the one or two values that you think define you, and at the end of the day, impact all of your decisions, your intentions, and your way of being. So if you want that document, it's there. It's a suggested list of values. It doesn't mean that you have to choose one or two from there, but it's a way to get started in thinking about your values. So I love the list that she had. I got super overwhelmed at first. I was like, oh my God, there's so many. And I found myself in a lot of them, but at the end of the day, I was able to narrow it down to two. So to follow up, I'm trying to hold this umbrella. You want to think about the values that don't feel like a choice, right? They're simply a definition of who we are in our lives. And you should really resist holding on to words that resemble something you've been coached to be. That is huge, because I feel like there's a lot of values like financial stability. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a value, but is it something that I am truly working on a daily basis? Is it something that drives all of my, actions and thoughts and behaviors? Not necessarily, but it is something I want to work on. So it's not a value, but it's not, in my top two by any means. So think about, okay, what two values truly define me as a person? What is my North Star? And what two values are at the center of most of my decisions and thoughts? So, yeah, and then she gives, those were just my questions, but she says, in order to figure this out, you must ask yourself, does this define me? Is this who I am at my best? And is this a filter that I use to make hard decisions? So when I took a look at this values list, I was able to narrow down two. The first one for me was growth. I thought that was huge because it's like this umbrella it is an umbrella of different things. So for me, every single day I want to grow. I want to learn something new. I want to expand my mind. I want to be mentally and physically growing every day. I want to grow muscles. Like it encapsulates a lot of different things for me. So it's not just about like, growing in one area of my life. It's growing in all areas of my life. So I feel like that is a great value for me. And now that I'm just thinking about it too, growing money in my bank account, like that's something that I am working on, right? Just overall growing. So that's one of my values. The other one is well-being. And I feel like those are very connected, but again, like this is what I do every day of my life. I want to be healthy. I want to make sure that I mentally am in a good place. I want to make sure that the people around me are in a good place as well. And that focus on well-being all around is really what drives me. Also as an educator, right? I'm going to start going back this way because I feel like we're on a long path here. As a teacher, it's more than just the curriculum for me. I want to make sure that my kids feel safe. I want to make sure that my kids are thinking outside the box. They are applying things to their own lives. And I feel like that also, like as my mission as a teacher, the two words that stand out to me are growth and well-being. So I feel like I really am able to focus on these two values, and it defines me as a person. And I love that now I'm able to say, okay, like when I say or do something, I'm like, oh, that's my growth value coming out here, or yep, that aligns with my well-being value. So it helps you to like reinforce some of the actions and thoughts and things that you're doing on a daily basis. And it makes you feel good. Like, yes, I am living my values, right? I'm holding those near and dear. And when you have those difficult situations and those challenges, you're able to fall back on, okay, what are my values? What do I need to do to kind of realign myself to be authentic? So I love this. I was so excited when I came up to this section of the book. And I sat down with Pete and I was like, okay. So I gave him like a little mini lesson. I'm like, let's take a look at our values and like what comes up for you. And I think that's a great exercise to not only do with your like work team, but also in your relationships. Because then knowing the other person's values is going to help you when you need to show empathy with the other person or know where they're coming from, right? Because your values might not be the same, but you're able to then, drive your decisions based on what you know the other person needs and what you know the other person, where they're coming from. Yes, Lynette. So if you're watching this on a phone, it might be a little bit challenging to kind of click on the link because it might take you out of YouTube. But if you're watching on a computer, you'll be able to open a new tab and take a look at that. But I've linked it, like I said, in the description below. So you can check that out. And yeah, list of values. I love it. It's a fun little activity to do with your family, your friends, your spouse, and like the book basically is intended for, your work team. And I think that allows for connection, vulnerability, trust, and you're just helping to build your team on so many levels. So if you take nothing else away from this book or this live stream, I would look into those values because it's something that's going to help you on a daily basis. And I know we talked about our one word for the year. I still have my one word for the year, which is peace. So I think about that word every single day, but I also now am layering on my values, my words that, now I just have 3 words I think about every day. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about with your one word for the year, you can also check out that live stream after this one. And just to find it more easily, it is a stream that was done at the Grand Floridian, so you can find that thumbnail and check out that video as well. And then Brené also goes on in this chapter to talk about defining 3 to 4 behaviors that support our values, things that you're doing on a daily basis that like align with these values. And then 3 to 4 slippery behaviors, which are basically temptations that kind of counter our values. So what are some things that maybe don't align? And, kind of assessing that, checking that out. I would say before January, one of my slippery behaviors was probably drinking alcohol. It doesn't really align with well-being at all on any level. So now that I am not a drinker, I'm like, yes, all right, I moved that slippery behavior over, and I feel like I'm more aligned with my values. So there's that. So getting clear on your values is going to help you live more authentically, and then you'll be able to communicate with the people around you when you're asking for support in those areas. Love that so much. So we are going to make our way back into the lobby if I can figure out how to do that. We're walking back. And just to recap a little bit, with this stream, we did start talking with the idea of like trust and empathy, how to empower people on your team and in your immediate, space, whether it's at work or in your home. And then we ended with the idea of defining our values. I just can't believe how much it's raining right now. Hey, good morning. But we did it, and that's why Shades of Green is so green, because of this glorious rain that we have. So glad I have an umbrella. Otherwise, I don't know how my iPhone would be right now. It's okay. And if you're someone who would like some extra coaching on this idea, or any area of your life where you feel like you're struggling or you need that extra support or accountability, consider becoming a Patreon, because I do have some great levels that allow for some group coaching, some private coaching, and you can check that out at patreon.com/learningwithlaw. I am setting up a 30-minute group coaching call next Monday, so that's March 3rd in the evening. So if you're somebody that's looking for maybe like dipping a toe into the life coaching realm, you just need the extra support, you can check it out for 30 minutes. But that's if you are a Patreon on the top 2 levels. You can check out all the details about that at patreon.com/learningwithlaw. And if you're someone that's like, I don't know if I want to be a Patreon, but I am interested in that group coaching, please send me an email. I actually put a link in the document, the values document, so you can check that out there too. And we can kind of talk about what works best for you. So let me know, because I literally love connecting and helping people grow to their fullest potential. So that's where I'm at. That's why I started this Monday motivation. I want to, connect with all of you. I want to share the information that I've learned. It's something that's important to me. So there's that. And if you haven't already hit that like button, please do. I really appreciate you. It helps to, boost that YouTube algorithm, share the stream with lots of other people on the internet, right? And we just want people to better themselves. Thank you so much, Lynette. I appreciate you. So much water happening this morning. We got fountains, we got rain, we had sprinklers before. Hey, Kelsey. But like I said, it's great to start the Monday morning with a little rain. It's a cleanse, it's a purification of everything that happened last week. We're just starting from scratch, right? Let's go back into this gorgeous lobby. I'm going to take this bridge because why not? We love a good bridge. We could go this way. Womp womp. Or we could just take a fun little bridge. I love it. Ooh. Lots of puddles. Lots of puddles. But again, I want to acknowledge you all for being here. I appreciate you. Thanks for starting your Monday out with me. Whether it's raining or not, we're having a good time. Shelly, have a wonderful day, at work. Ooh, this is kind of scary for little kids, just like, boop, plopping in the water. Shelly, have a wonderful week. Oh, there's another little bridge over here. Yeah, I think there should be some railings, but that's just me. Again, just looking out for your well-being. And let me know after the stream where you'd like to see me stream next Monday. We've covered a lot of the resorts on the Monday Motivation, so let me know in the comments after the stream where you'd like to see me stream next week. So here's the resort map, so you can see how very large this resort is. And let me just get out of the rain. Okay. All right. Walk back inside. I want to head to the lobby. Oh, so down here, Mangino's, steak, seafood, pasta, poultry. That looks good. That's down here. And we have the Java Cafe up there, which I believe they also have gelato, but probably not at this hour. But I do love their lobby. They have really nice seating, super cozy. Oh, there is a long line for coffee. Thanks for joining us, Captain Kirk. Have a wonderful day at work. Enjoy your week. We have a little fireplace. It's indoor, outdoor, which I love too. Let's go outside for a moment because there is a little overhang. Okay. I just like being outside, rain or shine. All right. Well, thank you all so much for being here on this beautiful rainy Monday morning. But I hope you all have a wonderful week. Remember to check out those the value link down below in the description. Again, if you want to become a Patreon, that link is there too. patreon.com/learningwithlaw, and then you can choose the level that's right for you. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next Monday for hopefully a drier Monday motivation. But have a wonderful week, guys. See you real soon. Bye-bye.